When you think of another, you do not merely recall them, you recreate them. You summon their presence into the theater of your mind. And there, in that sacred space of imagination, you decide who they are to you. Most people believe that relationships are shaped by words, by gestures, by the fleeting events of the outer world. But all of these are shadows, reflections of the inner state you hold. The truth is simple, yet profoundly powerful. The way you think of another being determines how they appear in your world. Think of them with love and watch how love reshapes the scene. No effort, no struggle, no persuasion is required. You do not need to chase or convince, you need only to feel. For when you hold someone in the light of love, you are not trying to pull them back. You are inviting the reflection of your own wholeness. Love does not bind, it frees. And in that freedom, the one you cherish feels the magnetic pull of harmony and begins to find their way home. Not through force, but through resonance. Every thought carries a fragrance, a tone, a vibration. When you think of someone in anger, they feel that resistance even across great distances. When you think of them in love, they feel that ease. Love is the original language, the one that requires no translation. The heart always recognizes it, and it responds instantly. So when you think of them, do not revisit old wounds or conversations that never found closure. Instead, lift the image in your mind. See them as radiant, peaceful, kind. See them as your friend, your beloved, your equal in light. And as you do, you begin to alter the inner film from which life projects its outer scenes. Do not underestimate the stillness of thought. What you imagine in silence becomes the loudest command to the universe. When you think of them with tenderness, with compassion, with an unshakable sense of understanding, you are not merely daydreaming. You are planting the seeds of reunion. And when these seeds blossom, they do so naturally, without strain. The right moment arrives, the right words are spoken, the right paths cross again, and it feels as if destiny has arranged it. But destiny is nothing more than the unfolding of your inner knowing. Most people try to fix others in their imagination. They replay scenes of hurt. They repeat words of blame. They carry the weight of separation as though it were permanent. But separation is an illusion sustained by memory. The moment you change your inner narrative, the outer story begins to rearrange itself. The person you thought was lost begins to appear in dreams, in thoughts, in signs, until eventually the outer meeting takes form. But by then, you will have already felt it inside. You will already have known it was done. Love is not a plea, it is a knowing. It is the quiet certainty that beyond appearances, all beings are connected through one great consciousness. When you love someone, truly love them, you do not possess them. You recognize yourself in them. You understand that there is no distance between souls, only the illusion of it. And in that recognition, reunion is inevitable. Do not dwell on what went wrong. That is to recreate the same pattern that once separated you. Instead, dwell on what is beautiful, on what is divine, on what is eternal between you. Every person you have ever loved is still connected to you through the invisible web of thought. The bridge may appear broken, but it is only your perception that falters. The bridge of love never breaks. It waits patiently for your awareness to cross it again. If you wish for someone to return, think of them as already with you. Feel their laughter in the room, their warmth beside you, their kindness in your heart. Let your imagination become the meeting place. For imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. Whatever you consistently feel and believe in your inner world must one day take shape in the outer. The universe mirrors the state of your heart. When you think of them with love, you are not begging them to come back. You are allowing love itself to move through you. Love is the force that heals, that restores, that draws all things into harmony. It knows no opposition. It has no rival. It moves quietly, invisibly, but it moves mountains. It softens hearts, dissolves pride, and brings back those who were once distant, not through control, but through the silent power of acceptance. So when you find yourself missing someone, do not turn to sadness. Turn to love. Feel gratitude that they have existed in your experience, that your souls have touched. See them bathed in light and hold them there without expectation. The secret is not in wanting, but in being. When you become love, you no longer seek it, you radiate it, and all that matches that vibration finds you. There is no distance too great, no silence too long for love to bridge. Thought travels instantly, and what you hold in your heart, the other feels. You do not need to say a word. The language of the heart is silent yet supreme. Let your inner conversation with them be gentle, understanding, forgiving. Speak to them in thought as though they are before you now. Tell them all is well. Tell them you see them happy, fulfilled, free. Tell them that you bless them with peace. And as you do, you will begin to feel that peace within yourself. When you love without resistance, without clinging, the entire world bends to reflect that love. The one you think of begins to sense a shift they cannot explain. They begin to feel drawn to you, not by guilt or longing, but by the natural pull of harmony. They may appear suddenly, or slowly drift back into your life through coincidence, but either way, it will seem as though the world conspired to make it happen. Yet it was not the world, it was your consciousness. If they have hurt you, forgive them in thought. Forgiveness is not approval of what happened. It is the recognition that what happened no longer holds power over you. To forgive is to reclaim your creative authority. It is to declare that love, not resentment, writes the next chapter of your story. When you forgive, you are not setting them free. You are setting yourself free, and in that freedom, love can flow again. Think of them. Yes, but think of them rightly. See them not as who they were in fear, but as who they truly are in love. Each time you remember them, you are painting on the canvas of consciousness. Paint with light, with warmth, with kindness. Even if they are far, even if they are silent, even if they are unaware, your love reaches them. Love never misses its mark. And when they return, as they surely will, it will not be the old relationship you once knew. It will be something renewed, transformed, sanctified by understanding. For when love is purified of need, it becomes divine. It no longer asks to be fulfilled. It fulfills itself by existing. So do not struggle to make anyone come back. Do not chase what is already yours in consciousness. Instead, sit in stillness and let love do its perfect work. Think of them with peace, with gratitude, with joy. Feel as though everything is already reconciled, every misunderstanding dissolved, every distance closed. The outer world will soon echo that certainty. To think of another with love is the highest form of creation. It is to become one with the source from which all harmony flows. When you remember them through love, you do not just call them back into your life. You call yourself back into your power. And when that power is love, everything you once thought was lost will return, not for a moment, but to stay. When you think of someone with love, truly with love, you are not engaging in idle imagination. You are breathing life into the essence of that connection. You are saying to the universe, if this bond is eternal, It cannot fade, it cannot die, because it was born of love, and love knows no death. In that very moment, you lift both yourself and the one you think of into a higher vibration, where harmony is natural and reunion inevitable. Most people, when they think of someone who has left, dwell on the absence, the silence, the gap between what was and what is. They rehearse the pain, the words unsaid, the distance that seems too great to cross. But this only makes the absence real, for consciousness is creative. It does not argue, it simply reflects. Whatever you feel to be true becomes the mirror image of your world. So if you hold them in the light of missing, the world must show you more reasons to miss them. But if you hold them in the light of love, the world must align to bring love's reflection back to you. You may not see it at first. The outer world often lags behind the inner revelation, but every loving thought, every silent blessing, every inner smile builds a bridge across the unseen. You are not alone in this work. The one you love feels the stirrings too. For no thought is ever lost. It travels and touches the mind of the one to whom it is directed. You have felt it before. The sudden thought of someone, the memory that comes from nowhere, the quiet sense that someone is thinking of you. That is how consciousness communicates, instant, invisible, undeniable. So imagine that your love is a light that cannot be hidden. Each time you think of them gently, kindly, without yearning, that light glows brighter. It passes through the illusion of time and distance, and it finds them. They may not know why they suddenly feel peace when they think of you. They may not know why they are drawn to reach out or why memories return so vividly. But the reason is simple: love is calling. Love is remembering itself through both of you. You are not trying to bring back an old story. You are not summoning someone to fill an emptiness. You are remembering your wholeness through the act of love. That is the secret of true creation. It begins within, not as a demand, but as an expression. When you think of them with love, you are not waiting for them to return to make you happy. You are already living in the happiness that naturally draws them near. You become magnetic, radiant, and peaceful. And from that state, all things that belong to you, by right of consciousness, must find you. Let go of every memory that makes your heart heavy. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by how you see it now. If you choose to reinterpret every past moment through love, you rewrite the script of your relationship. You heal timelines by seeing them with new eyes. The argument, the silence, the misunderstanding, each of these can be transformed the moment you choose to imagine it differently. Picture the scene again in your mind, not as it was, but as you wish it had been. Hear kind words instead of harsh ones. Feel understanding instead of conflict. Sense laughter instead of distance. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It only responds to the feeling. The feeling of love, pure and unconditioned, is the highest vibration in existence. When you occupy it, you align yourself with the creative intelligence of the universe itself. You become a living instrument of harmony. That is why miracles occur when you love despite appearances, when you bless instead of curse, when you send peace instead of pain. Love reorganizes everything it touches. It cannot fail because it is the very nature of existence. It may seem that the person you love is stubborn, unaware, or far away, but appearances are nothing more than the mirror of your belief. Change your belief and the mirror must change. Imagine them not as lost, but as returning, not as cold, but as kind, not as resistant, but as open. Picture them smiling, reaching out, speaking words of warmth. Hear the tone of their voice in your mind. Feel the sincerity in their eyes. Let it be real to you in imagination, and soon it must be real in experience. There is no force greater than thought infused with emotion. Every prayer, every intention, every affirmation is simply a thought clothed in feeling. You may say, I love them. But if you still feel fear or lack, the vibration you emit is not pure love. It is mixed with resistance. The key is to love freely without demand. Love because it feels natural, not because you seek a reward. Love because you recognize that love itself is the fulfillment. When you reach that place within where you can think of them with peace, without expectation, without pain, you have achieved true alignment. And it is from that alignment that everything you desire flows effortlessly. You will see signs everywhere, music that reminds you of them, dreams that bring them close, moments that feel like whispers from the unseen. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. They are confirmations that your inner work is unfolding in the outer world. Do not try to rush the process. The universe is never late. It is always precise. The exact moment they return will be the perfect moment. Until then, continue to love in thought, in imagination, in spirit. Every time you choose love over fear, you dissolve the barriers that once separated you. You begin to feel lighter, freer, more certain. You no longer need to question whether they will return because you know that love always finds its own reflection. The greatest gift you can give anyone is the vision of their highest self. To hold another in love is to see them as perfect, complete, and capable of infinite good. When you do this, you lift them beyond their own limitations. You help them remember who they truly are. You may never speak a word to them, yet your silent knowing reshapes them. That is the quiet majesty of love. It heals without effort. It restores without noise. Some will ask, but what if they don't want to return? Understand this, no one can resist love. Not human love filled with attachment, but divine love that asks for nothing and gives everything. That love is irresistible because it is freedom itself. When you love someone purely, you release them from judgment, from the image of who you think they were. You let them be, and in that letting be, you make room for them to come back. Not to your past, but to the present moment where only love exists. When the mind grows anxious, remind yourself love is already complete. There is no separation in consciousness, only in perception. When you quiet the mind and dwell in the feeling of unity, the outer world reorganizes itself to reflect that unity. Sometimes this happens suddenly, like a wave of unexpected contact. Other times, it unfolds slowly through synchronicities and gentle meetings. But always, love fulfills itself. Let your imagination be sacred. Before you sleep, close your eyes and see them in perfect harmony with you. Imagine walking side by side, laughing together, speaking kindly. Feel the warmth of their presence as though it were real, because it is. The inner world is the seed of the outer. The moment you feel that reality within, the seed begins to sprout, and nothing can prevent its flowering. Do not tell yourself stories of loss. Instead, tell yourself stories of love rediscovered, of connection deepened, of peace restored. Let every thought of them become a silent prayer of gratitude. Thank you that love has healed us. Thank you that all is well between us. Speak these words not as a request, but as a truth already fulfilled. The universe responds not to longing, but to certainty. And if ever you doubt, remember this: what you think of another is what you call forth in them. If you think of them with resentment, you keep them bound in that image. If you think of them with love, You free them to express their true nature. You become a channel for grace, and grace always returns multiplied. The love you send out is the love that comes back to you, often in ways you cannot predict. Your only task is to remain faithful to the vision of love fulfilled. Do not look for evidence, create it within. Feel the reality so deeply that it becomes natural to you. When you walk through your day, carry that quiet joy. Let it color your words, your gestures, your energy. When others speak of loss or separation, you will know a secret they do not. There is no such thing as loss in the realm of love. Love never goes unanswered. It may seem delayed, but it is always returning, always finding a way. The person you love cannot escape the truth of love's vibration. It will reach them in dreams, in sudden memories, in the soft pull toward you that they cannot explain. The heart always recognizes where it belongs. And when it does, it moves mountains to find its way back. So think of them now, not as gone, but as here, not as distant, but as close. Let your mind be the meeting place, and your heart the bridge. Send them light, forgiveness, understanding. Feel the peace of knowing that love has already done its work. For love does not begin with another person. It begins within you. And from you it expands to touch all creation. Every time you return to love, you create a ripple that transforms worlds. You might not see it immediately, but its effect is inevitable. One day you will look around and see how perfectly everything aligned. The one you thought was gone will be near, and it will feel as though no time has passed. You will realize that it was never about bringing them back. It was about remembering that love never left. For love is eternal, and when you think of them with love, you are participating in eternity itself. You are calling forth the truth of oneness, where no goodbye can ever truly exist. You are returning them to the place they have always belonged, not merely in your life, but in your heart, where they have stayed all along. When you close your eyes and allow your mind to wander toward them, you are not simply recalling a memory. You are entering into a living moment of creation. Every thought is an act of forming, every emotion a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. The unseen world of imagination is not a shadow of the real. It is the womb from which the real is born. And so when you think of them with love, you are creating an unseen pathway that must, by its own divine law, express itself in visible form. You are not reaching for them across miles or years. You are meeting them in consciousness, where there is no distance, no separation, no time. There is a soft magic in the act of loving without trying to control. Most people have been taught to love with conditions, to give affection only when it is returned, to offer warmth only when it is deserved, to hold the heart open only when it feels safe. But the love that transforms is the love that asks for nothing, that simply is. It stands as a radiant state of being, a light that shines whether or not anyone stands in its glow. When you think of them with love in that way, you free yourself first. You release the burden of waiting, of hoping, of fearing, and you step into the quiet authority of the soul, which knows that love is its own reward, its own power, its own certainty. The mind may try to argue, but they forgot. They do not care. Yet that is only the surface, the outer play of appearances. Beneath every story of loss lies the truth of union that cannot be broken. The connection you feel is not an illusion. It is the echo of something eternal. You have met them in thought long before you met them in flesh. You have spoken to them in spirit long before any words were spoken aloud. That is why their absence feels strange. It is not natural to the soul, for the soul knows no parting. The longing you feel is not weakness. It is simply the recognition that love desires to express itself again, to find form again, to be known again. So rather than resist the feeling, let it become your compass. Each time your heart aches, turn that ache into tenderness. Each time your mind replays what went wrong, shift the scene into what went right. Remember the laughter, the warmth, the moments of truth. Let those memories expand, not with sorrow but with gratitude. Feel that if nothing more were to happen, it would still be enough to have known love so vividly. That gratitude is what purifies the vibration. Gratitude transforms wanting into having, yearning into knowing, absence into presence. As you do this, you will notice a change, not only in how you feel, but in how the world responds to you. People will speak with more warmth. Strangers will smile. The air will seem lighter. This is not coincidence, this is alignment. You are tuning yourself to the frequency of love, and all of creation must reflect that tone. Even the one you think of cannot resist it, for they too are part of this universal song. They may begin to dream of you, think of you without reason, recall you in moments of quiet. They may feel an unexplainable sense of comfort when your name arises. This is the unseen work of consciousness weaving its tapestry back together. Do not demand results. Demand only that you stay faithful to the feeling. The universe does not need instruction, it needs clarity. When you are clear that love is your state, the outer world finds its own way to demonstrate that truth. The timing, the manner, the path. All of these are beyond the reach of reason, but they are perfectly orchestrated. You do not need to open every door yourself. The door that belongs to you will open effortlessly when your inner state matches the reality behind it. If you ever feel weary, remember that love never depletes, it replenishes. What drains you is resistance, not love. To think of someone with resentment, to replay arguments, to imagine rejection. Those are the thoughts that tighten the flow of energy. But to love without needing a response is to open the channel again. That is why it feels like relief. Love is the natural current of being. And when you stop fighting the tide, it carries you effortlessly forward. There will come a time when your mind will test you. It will whisper that it's useless, that people don't change, that the past is too heavy. But every time you answer those thoughts with love, you prove them powerless. Every time you choose peace over pain, you declare your creative sovereignty. The power that imagined them lovingly once can imagine them lovingly again. And that image will find its way into manifestation. You are not attempting to influence another's will. You are revealing the truth that lies beneath all appearances, that harmony already exists. Every being is an expression of the same infinite mind. What you hold in consciousness as true must eventually show itself in the physical world, for the outer world is but the shadow of the inner. When you think of them as loving, kind, open, and present, you are aligning yourself with that version of them that already exists. And because you are one in consciousness, they begin to align with it too. The world may tell you that love is fragile, that it fades, that people move on. But the world only reflects what the mind believes. Love, in its pure form, cannot fade. It only transforms. It moves from the surface of emotion into the depth of awareness. What you thought was an ending is often the pause before a new harmony begins. When you no longer chase, you allow. When you no longer beg, you receive. When you no longer doubt, you witness miracles. There are invisible threads connecting every soul. They vibrate with every thought you think, every emotion you feel. You have felt it yourself. The sudden wave of peace, the random burst of joy that arrives without cause. These are moments when someone somewhere is thinking of you with love. Thought is the true telepathy, and love is its highest language. You do not need to speak aloud to reach them. The heart's message travels instantly, faster than light, and it never misses its destination. Let your nights become sacred moments of creation. Before sleep, release all worry. Close your eyes and see them not as they were, but as they are in truth, radiant, free, in perfect harmony with you. Feel the joy of reunion not in the future, but now. Feel their presence so clearly that you could almost reach out and touch them. Smile. Whisper in your heart that all is well, and then rest. Knowing the seed has been planted, the subconscious will take that image and nurture it, waving it into the events of your waking life until it becomes reality. And as the days pass, do not measure the progress. You cannot dig up the seed to see if it has sprouted. You must trust the soil of the unseen. Keep watering it with gentle thoughts, with quiet love, with certainty. You may notice synchronicities. Songs you once shared, sudden memories, symbols that remind you of them. Do not brush them off. These are whispers from the unseen, reminders that the process is alive. In time, perhaps in ways you could not plan, they will return, not as a stranger, not as a memory, but as someone drawn by the invisible current of your love. And when they do, it will not be the same story repeating. It will be a new creation, born of understanding, cleansed of the past. You will recognize it by its peace. There will be no fear, no struggle, no uncertainty, just the quiet knowing that this was always meant to be. Until that moment, be the love you wish to receive. Speak gently to the world. Treat others as you would treat the one you adore. Fill your days with kindness. For the energy you give to others returns multiplied. The one you think of is not separate from the rest of the world. They are part of the same consciousness. Every act of love toward another brings them closer, for love expands the entire field. If you ever find yourself doubting, remind yourself that everything in creation is thought made visible. Every structure, every invention, every relationship began as an image in the unseen. Why should this be any different? The moment you imagine them with love, you have begun the creation of reunion. Hold to that image more faithfully than to appearances. Appearances will shift. Love will remain. The most powerful creators are those who can look at the world as it is and still imagine it as they wish it to be. You are that creator. When you think of them with love, you are shaping the next chapter, not by effort, but by vision. The outer world will catch up to the inner one. It must, for that is its purpose, to mirror consciousness. The path of love is simple, yet few walk it purely, for it requires trust. It asks you to believe in what you cannot yet see. It asks you to feel connected even in the face of distance. But the reward for such faith is the realization that you were never apart to begin with. Love only appears to leave, so that you may rediscover it within yourself. And once you have, it returns multiplied, strengthened, transformed. So continue to think of them, not with longing, but with the peace of completion. Every time their image arises, let it be an opportunity to bless, to forgive, to affirm unity. Smile when you think of them, for that smile is a signal to the universe that you remember your wholeness. And from that wholeness, all things you love must come back, not to fill a void, but to celebrate the fullness that you have become. When you think of them with love, you are not performing a ritual or reciting a mantra. You are returning to the natural rhythm of life itself. You are aligning your heart with the pulse of creation, which forever beats to the rhythm of love. In that rhythm, everything finds its rightful place. The lost are found, the broken are healed, the separated are joined. It is not magic, it is law. Love is the law that governs all things, and when you live by it, life cannot help but answer in kind. So continue this sacred practice of thought. Let love be your constant companion, your inner atmosphere. And though the world may shift, though time may pass, know this with absolute certainty. What is thought in love is eternal. What is imagined in love must live. And what is held in love must one day return. Not fleetingly, not uncertainly, but to stay. And so, let your final act not be of waiting, but of becoming. Become the very love you wish to see reflected back to you. Do not seek their return through desperation. Invite it through peace. For when you are no longer searching, you are already found. When you no longer plead, you are already fulfilled. And when you think of them with love, unwavering and free, you awaken the divine law that governs all creation. What is held in love cannot be lost. It will return, not because you chased it, but because love recognizes its own. It knows where it belongs, and it always finds its way home. So release fear, release doubt, release the illusion of separation. Stand firm in the quiet certainty that love never fails. Think of them with love, live in that love, and watch how the universe bends to mirror your inner truth. For nothing is more powerful, more creative, or more eternal than a heart that dares to love, without question, without demand, and without end.